Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Recall Pod. Kieran, it has been an absolutely long time since we've last talked. How are you doing, Kieran?
Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. It's been like 9 months, 10 months. I don't know. It's been a while. Yeah, but excited to be back.
Excited to be back, ready and good to go for season 2. But I think first we would like to make some announcements. It's like, firstly, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Kieran, you have anything to say about that?
Absolutely mad, bro. Like, especially since we haven't been posting in a while. The support's been amazing. Yeah, just keep it coming. We got the community tab. We got 1,000 subs, as you mentioned, and everything. The views kept rolling. So yeah, we just thought, we got to get straight back into it and hopefully post more content for you guys. Hopefully more regularly, and yeah, very exciting times.
Yeah, super exciting times, but we are sort of discussing as to what we should really talk about in this very new season. If you have any comments, feel free to leave it in our YouTube community page or wherever you listen to our podcast. But in the meantime, we're just going to share some of our ideas and reflections and goals for the season, I guess.
Yeah, but before we talk all of that, so obviously, as you know, or maybe you probably don't know, is that Hayden's is in Norway right now. Yeah.
Biggest
How many
change.
months have it- yeah.
It's been about 210 days, I would say. It's about 6-7 months since I departed from Hong Kong, and there's gonna be a lot of new interviews coming up in the season with all the new people I've met and all the new connections. But super exciting time, especially in this current age where there's so many things happening in the world. We'll definitely provide best content possible.
Yeah, so I remember this was a tradition we always used to do, but how's your week been so far?
How's your week been? The legendary question.
Yeah.
It's been a decent week. We had ski week a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and then that followed with first aid and MUN, which was really fun. But unfortunately, I did get COVID, and due to Norwegian policy, COVID is just classified as like the flu, like a cold. So there hasn't been much to it, but I would say glad to have recovered nice and safely. But hoping to go and be much more productive once again. Kieran, how has your week been?
Yeah, my week's been probably very different to how yours has been. As you know, in Hong Kong, it's not the best times out there. COVID's
sure.
still like a big problem here. There's, the government's still trying to do, zero COVID strategy and all of that. So it's been quite difficult, online school. It's been a while since we've had like a really long period. It reminds me of like that 2020 period, like when we first had lockdown, and not exactly lockdown, but now we actually could have a lockdown. That's something that apparently could happen. But yeah, it's been good. I think it's been more than a month since we had online school, and yeah, it's been okay. I got my econ IA as well due tomorrow, so that's obviously a bit of work on that. But yeah, it's been pretty good. I'm just excited to make some more podcast episodes. So yeah,
there's been great nostalgia thinking back about the IGCSE days when we were discussing about mocks and the exam, but now as an IB students, we are thrown into a completely new world, and we're just excited to see where life takes us, and the uni apps coming up, SATs, extracurriculars, all sorts of stuff that will hopefully bring you some new and hopefully quality content as we progress our journey. But I think one thing is important first is to reflect. Kieran, what would you say was the best and worst thing of recording podcasts for? We've done like 5 episodes only, but it's definitely something to reflect on.
Yeah, the best I think is just, talking about different things, Sometimes, we have our ordinary conversations. Obviously, we went to school together and all sorts. We just talked about stuff. But I feel like, recording podcast episodes together kind of forced us to talk about things that we wouldn't usually talk about and, express different things. And I just felt like, connect in a deeper level, meet new people as well, talk with guests and stuff, like Adoka, obviously, the last episode. So, yeah, it's been very nice. I would say, I guess just being consistent. I think that was a problem we definitely had, obviously. You know, there's a lot of things that goes behind, you know, making an episode. And obviously we both quite busy. I mean, especially now. We both have different lives, obviously. So, yeah. But I think overall it's usually a very, you know, fun experience, a rewarding experience. Yeah. All in all, I think it's, you know, very exciting process.
Yeah, I like to say the same thing. It's very thought provoking and really enjoyable to just film episodes like this. But as we mentioned, our definitely downfall was managing our time and being consistent, and especially now when we no longer go to the same school or go to live our lives with the same time zone. It's especially important that we get the consistency right to hopefully our podcast goes somewhere, and hopefully you guys enjoy our content. But
So yeah, you know, we went into IB obviously, so I just want to, you know, get your opinions on like, you know, different course, different syllabus. You know, we've had a good chunk of time now. It's been like, you know, a couple months. So how you doing with IB so far, and year 12?
yeah, I don't know. It might be me, but I feel like IB in some sense is a lot similar to IGCSE. A lot of stuff we've covered. But what I did not really realize was instead of learning more things in IB, you dive a lot deeper into the things we've learned, which was quite surprising to me. And I feel like it takes some time to get used to, especially with all the internal assessments and essays and TOK. But yeah, I really don't know what to say about it. It's quite enjoyable, I would say, IB as a whole.
Yeah, same for me, you know. Especially in like, you know, like comp sci, for example, or econ. I think, you know, there's a lot of overlap definitely. And obviously doing these courses at GCSE was obviously very helpful. But as you said, you know, we go in a much deeper level, obviously, and you know, for computer science, for example, we just briefly touched upon Python last year. Last 2 years, and you know, now we're doing Java, completely different programming language, and we go into object-oriented programming, which is, you know, a whole like different level, you know. And yeah, I mean, at least I didn't get, you know, 9.5 percent this
What a
time, but
joke.
like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. But yeah, as you can say, yeah, it's been definitely very exciting. I think, you know, at this stage, I think there's definitely a lot more work than compared to obviously the start, especially, you know, predicted grades coming up, uni apps and everything. So it's obviously going to be a bit more busier, but we'll do our best to obviously keep consistent and everything. So, but overall, I think IB's been good, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the project idea, I think it's definitely still quite doable, is during IGCSEs we compiled a lot of notes and a lot of material. We've been sort of like thinking about just creating a simple platform to release it and hopefully help everyone who needs help in IGCSEs and computer science, math, history, economics, etc. So hopefully we'll be able to find time to do this sometime and help all of you IGCSE listeners out there with something, I guess. It's really
Yeah, and
what I am.
along with that, you know, we had like a lot of ideas that we want to implement. You know, we had like we had an idea for a study suite as well. You know, with like I remember looking at our Notion page, we had like a lot of stuff like a Pomodoro timer in there. We had like a to-do list thing in there. I don't know. We had a lot of plans, I guess. But obviously, as you know, as time moves on, so we get more busier. But you know, we'd love to bring all these ideas. I mean, I think one thing we definitely have to do is bring back our website. You know, because you know, on my
For
phone,
sure. We lost our domain name.
Yeah.
Horrible. We lost the domain name. Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I remember having that icon on my phone, and sometimes I accidentally click on it, and it just reminds me like, oh, bro, we don't have our website anymore. Well, I mean, we still have it. It's just not on. It's not online right now. But yeah, we'll definitely try and get that. That's probably our priority right now. Definitely to get back the
For sure.
domain. Yeah.
For sure. But I mean, I just think we're just using this episode as an segue or introduction to what's more to come. I think for our priorities, we both want to bring on quality guests in the upcoming episodes, talk to interesting people, get some new ideas, project ideas, life ideas, any sorts of ideas, as people consume podcasts to learn, and we won't serve its purpose if we don't provide nuanced ideas, right?
Yeah, you know. So if you guys have anyone that in particular that you would recommend or someone you think would be great fit, you know, just leave in our comments of this video or like just email us or whatever. Just, you know, we're open to a lot of different people. And as you said, we're very excited to take this new step into the podcast. Especially with that gain in subscribers and everything, to hopefully meet even bigger and better quality guests and everything. So yeah, just super exciting times, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Looking forward, absolutely. I feel like one of a topic we should sort of touch upon during this podcast is perhaps to discuss the idea of consistency. I
Yeah.
feel like this is something that is quite interesting to talk about and should be addressed. But you have any inputs you want to make here?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who creates content, whether that be like YouTube videos, podcasts, or blogs, or all sorts, you always have that problem to be consistent, especially and I think it's consistency what allows you to grow. I mean, obviously that's not in our case. We were not very consistent, but we had a very passive growth. But I think in most cases, we got to be consistent to actually expect that growth. I think a lot of people who get into YouTube or get into any anyone who likes to create content, wants to use it as a platform to grow, they expect it too soon. I feel like they upload a couple of videos and they're like, oh, why am I not getting the subscribers, or why am I not getting the views or anything? And I think a big factor into that is they're not being consistent enough. I think what engages people, I think, is that idea of consistency. If your audience expect a new video in let's say a week after the first one, or like a series or whatever. So I think it's just consistency allows more people to watch your videos and enjoy your content. So yeah, I just feel like consistency is something that can definitely help creators no matter what space you get into.
Yeah, and I think the problem often is with consistency is that we find excuses to not do something even though we sort of want to do it. And I've been thinking about this, and I often think the reason is because of the friction to start. For example, recording podcasts. In all honesty, it's basically the simplest thing you can do. It's simply hopping on a call and having a chat. But I think what makes it quite hard to start is the fact that we mentally tell ourselves that we have to set up our mic, we have to test the mic, we have to use some specific software to record, blah blah blah. But I feel like once you start doing it, you just realize it's really not that hard, and you just keep going. For example, this podcast, we've been like pushing this for I don't know how long, like 3 months, 4 months. Last October, we mentioned something about here, and let's record a podcast this weekend, and we never got to it. And I feel like now it's really the best time, or a very good time, for us to get back consistency. It's just general. It's really useful to be consistent in life and everything, right?
Yeah, and I feel like recording this episode is probably the first step into getting back into that rhythm. I think recording the first episode, like from that that last one, is definitely the hardest. Trying to find time for it and everything. But I think once we get this video out and you kind of get back to what we enjoy the most, I think it'll definitely allow us to become more consistent in the future. We'll record this episode. Hopefully we can record more in the near future. But I think we definitely overcame the hardest step into getting back into the Recall Pod.
Yeah, we're just getting started and getting recorded, even though this episode might be absolute horrible and you're screaming your heads out going, well, what are these two guys like mumbling on about for 15 minutes now? But I just feel like this is a very, very nice way to get ourselves started again and get us realizing that it honestly isn't really that hard, and it's a very manageable thing to do.
I actually remember there's a couple of times we actually did record since the Adoka episode, and I remember one specific one where we wanted to talk about different articles. If you remember, we were trying to talk about.
I do remember.
Yeah, different articles, and I think that episode was going for 30, 45 minutes, and then we completely scrapped it because it became so dead after a bit. It was, I guess we were just talking about the same thing over and over again. It just didn't flow as much as it could have, and I think that was the last time we actually picked up our mics and actually talked, and record an episode. I think that was some point in July, and then we kept just procrastinating, just kept saying, oh, we'll do it next week, and it kept going. And yeah, I mean, there's no one to blame for that. I guess just ourselves, both of us, we both are at fault of this, but it's good. I think just grabbing our mics again, it's just the first step
It feels
into
good. Feels
yeah.
good grabbing the mics all over again and start recording again, and it's great, and I love it, and just super excited to see. Because in all honesty, thinking back, if we honestly had recorded, especially during my earlier times in Norway from August to December, we would have had quite a lot to talk about, especially as we progress our lives in separate directions. It would have been absolutely fantastic to discuss, but I guess life is about making mistakes and
Yeah.
realizing we made a mistake. Now it's March. It is, in fact, it's March. I just realized. I still think it was January or something where 2022 just started, but we're one fourth, almost one fourth through 2022, and uni applications at the end of this year.
Yeah.
We'll have to see where life takes us from there and on.
Bro, there's another funny thing. You know that the day before we hit 1,000 subs was our channel birthday.
Really?
Yeah, it's a complete coincidence. So we hit 1,000 subscribers basically a year into it, which is insane, which is absolutely mad. And this
Wow.
episode is probably gonna go out like almost like a year since the first one. So,
In
a
fact,
new era.
1,000 subscribers on almost. In fact, I might say it might be. Okay, let's do a quick check. Let's do a quick check. If we go on our podcast app right now, we have recorded our first episode on the day of Where have we recorded our first episode? Let's check. YouTube was a bit insane. But let's look in terms of the recall pod. Ooh. I guess we'll have to use our phones. But it's insane to think that we've been on this journey for a year now. Absolutely insane. Okay. The first episode was recorded 23rd of March, titled Why You Should Put Yourself Out There, Future Podcast Plans. And a year later, a year and about 8 more days, we are once again here discussing future podcast plans.
Yeah, but it's actually mad, 11 months ago was our first, basically a year ago, and that Adoka episode, 12K as well. So I'm actually mad.
Insane.
Growth has been insane.
Insane. Absolutely. But we're just super excited, actually. Keep mentioning this, but we're really happy to see where this podcast will take us, and we can use our subscribers and watch time to leverage and get better guests on the podcast, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. But what do you think we should post on our community page first? What should be the first post? Because I'm kind of be waiting to ask you,
For sure. I don't know. We could actually do absolutely anything for first community page. Perhaps do some polling, I have no clue, but
It's exciting
yeah,
times, though.
it's a big step.
Very-
It's an exciting time to be alive. And we usually finish off our episodes with an insight of the week, or I guess insights of the last 7 months,
Yeah.
to be precise. But Kieran, hit us with any idea, any conundrum, any topic you want to quickly bring up to the audience.
I mean, I guess this theme of this episode has been like consistency and procrastination. So I guess just give an overall insight into like the whole idea of procrastinate. Let's go with procrastination, because we definitely did procrastinate. So let's see, what's your thoughts on it and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was reading this book on procrastination, or not necessarily procrastination, but productivity in general. And there was something said along the lines of that procrastination happens when you're doing something that you won't like doing in 5 months or something. And I think a really nice question to ask yourself whenever you find yourself procrastinating is this something that I would want to do in, let's say, 5 months from now? And oftenly the answer is no. For example, this podcast, is this procrastination? It is not procrastination, because in 5 months we would want to continue recording. But in the meantime, scrolling Instagram, when we ask the questions, we just find our flaws, obviously.
It's very interesting, and I think we both definitely been victims of procrastination at times as well. Even like IB so far. I told myself, oh, I'll work on my econ IA like last week. I'll do it. I'll do it. I kept procrastinating. I said I'll do it next week, and I eventually had to work on it today. It's due tomorrow. I mean, don't follow this. Obviously, it's kind of scuffed, but it's just a learning curve. Just gotta learn from your mistakes, and just keep going.
But I guess we are gonna end our episode at this point, Ben. Now that we have gotten back into the rhythm, we have plans in our minds, we can end this episode and get right back onto the recall pod, Kieran. What do you say?
Yeah, it's been amazing to talk with you again at Recall Pod, and looking forward
Absolutely.
to all future episodes, and thank you guys for listening again, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.
So that's it. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Be sure to share this with friends, family, or anyone that might be interested in our content. Also, if you made it to the end, please sure to leave an emoji in the YouTube comment section if you're listening on YouTube. Otherwise, be sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or subscribe to us on Spotify. We'll see you in the next episode.